That's Tay. Tay is essential for all garage activities. Alright, so I have the shed roughly how I want it. There's still a few bits left to do, but I thought I would do a quick run through of the setup here and let's just have a look. So this isn't going to be one of those like I'm a professional fucking motorbike mechanic or any other kind of mechanic or any other kind of tradesperson, because I've none of those things. This is just my setup at home. As people who watch the channel know, I moved from a fairly big place to a fairly small place, and so I've had to sort of maximize space and use the walls a lot more and use storage a good bit more. And you know, as with any shed, you're never really finished. You're never really finished with the old man cave. And so for the garage itself, there's other parts of the house that I could call a man cave as well, but this is the garage part. It's mostly bike stuff and the odd bit of DIY stuff. So I'm going to run through the setup and what it looks like. So first of all, a general overview. Most of what this is in terms of a setup is the large toolbox, which I have for years. I'll get to that in a minute. There's the box, the stacking boxes that go onto the wall lattice, which I'll get onto, and then there's the sort of shop front system that I have set up, and there's a couple of bits behind me as well I'll get to. So the tool trolley, I've had this for years. Somebody did me a solid on it years and years ago, and I have had it basically as long as I've owned a house. Now, lots of people have these and they have it all nicely labelled and there's a lovely system and there's, you know, everything is where it should be. I'm not like that. I'm not a fucking disaster, but I'm not, you know, one of those folks who really has everything set up just as it should, where you open it up and there's my sockets. They're all in nice foamy inserts. But we'll get to that. So let's go left to right. So there's my boiler. Right, okay, not terribly exciting. There's my CCTV, an alarm system. There's the water pump for the house, but then there's also the Halfords general purpose jump start, you know, power generation, blow up your tires, all sorts of stuff. Somebody got me a Halfords discount, and it was in a sale as well a couple of years ago, so I picked that up. I've had a few shite versions of this over the years, but this is actually grand. Halfords are robbing bastards at the best of time, but this has done me all right. Every couple of months it beeps at me and I recharge it, and so that's fine. Probably good for bringing camping and stuff if you want to plug stuff in and etc. But I haven't gone camping in a while, so there you go. I have my strimmer and hedge trimmer stuff. We have a big fuck off hedge out the back that I have to attack every so often. You'll see a ton of Ryobi 1 Plus stuff. So I'm full on fucking Ryobi 1 Plus. Which is a system for power tools that all use the same battery. So this is the battery. It looks like a standard drill battery. That's a 2 amp hour one. You can get big fuck off LiPo 5 amp hour ones, which I haven't bothered with. And you can get spurious ones, which I also haven't bothered with. And all of these take that. So I have the strimmer and the hedge trimmer and the hedge trimmer and a big long pole. And I also have the work light, which, you know, opens up and hinges, and you know, you can have it sitting there lighting up your work area, which is pretty cool. Screwdriver set, which, you know, I found a good screwdriver set that mounts onto a wall, so I mounted it on a wall. Why not? Having a fucking good set of electrical screwdrivers will stand to you. I've had these a good long while and they're good. I mean, once they're, I assume there's some sort of certification on them, but like, have a good set of electrical screwdrivers, flathead and Phillips. A lot of electrical stuff is flathead, so you need one of those. So up here we have our sort of lattice stuff. I'll go through, like, there's a lot of shit here. I'm just going to go through the essentials that I think are, you know, should be in every garage. This is an essential. I'm running out. Vinyl gloves, sized for your hands, so you have them, but if you're about to get real fucking messy with something, having a set of gloves on is grand. So if I'm sticking my hands in the innards of a bike or doing something else that's going to get grease or oil or shite all over your hands, just stick them on. They shouldn't be an impediment to you if you size them correctly. So I've got big fuck off hands, so extra large does me. Other things, this is an Oxford set, mirror on a stick and magnet on a stick. You'd be fucking surprised how often you want or would like one of those. You know, myself and Onto us or Grainbow were doing something electrical to my bike a while ago, and we dropped a little fucking screw down into the bike, and we could see it, but couldn't get to it, and we ended up with like a screwdriver with duct tape on the end going at it. But that would have had it out in 2 seconds. It's a fucking lifesaver, and you don't know you want it until you want it. Tape, the 3 essential kinds of tape: electrical, masking, and duct. Always have it to hand, always have it sitting there. Bin bags, because you generate a lot of shite with stuff you're doing here, and you just drop it into a bin bag that I have over there, and then just bring it out every so often. Doesn't take any time at all, just to keep yourself a little bit tidy and not have shite lying around all over the place. Ryobi batteries, I've 3 of those. They're from the original tools that I bought. I've never had to buy a new battery. That's grand. That's the Ryobi impact driver, which I never use. That's the charger for them, and the charger for other batteries and stuff. This is a thing I made to hold drill bits. Don't do that. Just buy a nice set of drill bits like that one, and then fucking look after them and keep putting them back in the place where you put them, so you don't fucking find random drill bits and fucking just don't do that. I'm gonna fuck all them out, apart from the ones that aren't in this set here. So don't make the mistake I made. Other stuff up here: wood glue, fittings, fixtures, fittings, all that sort of stuff. My favourite kind of roll plug, the Uno plug, the 5mm one, a proper masonry bit. Another essential, fucking Stanley knife, right? There's lots of weird fucking foldy up, nice looking Stanley knives you can get. You really can't fucking beat the original Stanley. Fucking hold it with 2 fucking hands if you need to and rip things out of it. With a Stanley blade, fucking fantastic. You know, every home should have one. Sharpie, just a black Sharpie, just for marking stuff, acting the bollocks. You know, you just, these are the best. They mark everything. They're great. Having some steel wire. I know some lads, especially racers and stuff, steel wire screws and bolts on. It's good to have. That was in a garden centre a while ago. I got a fucking 100-metre roll of it for buttons, right? And it, you know, I'll have that for life. That'll do me for steel wire. One of those things where if you don't know you need it until you have it. Okay, so let's get to the drawers here. I don't really have a system for these drawers, and I tend to drop shit there, which I really shouldn't. Top drawer, fucking, that's the system you'd have if you had a system. Network cable stuff that I do for network cabling related stuff. Random shit like threadlock, scissors and knives. Random stuff that I go to grab. Once again, yet another thing that should be in every fucking garage is a calipers. Like a proper decent one. I know Aldi and Lidl do them the odd time. I have an electronic one. Some people swear by vernier calipers or manual ones. Just have a good set of calipers. Even for, like, if you find a drill bit and don't know what fucking size it is, just stick it in the calipers. You know, measure distances, have a good one. Keep it in its box, because especially with manual ones, you drop it on the fucking ground and then it's bollocks. Like, it's inaccurate forever. So calipers, top drawer, keep it there. This seems to be random bollocks. There's some RAM mount stuff in there, some GPS mount stuff. Again, the top drawers I tend to just drop shit into unless I have a system on them. Oh my gosh, keys, wrenches, star driver sets. Fucking Aldi and Lidl are fantastic. Like, this probably has all of these other things in it, you know, for like random security bit sets. But what I have here is star drivers, random shite. This is like an AliExpress thing, you know, where just random, you know, square drivers and shit like that. Decent set of Allen keys. I've had these for fucking ever. More recently, Torx head keys, which the KTM really likes Torx heads, and BMWs like as well, so it's good to have a good set of those and keep them there, don't fucking lose them. This tends to be empty. Yeah, boys, this tends to be empty because I keep putting shit there, and so I don't like putting things in there. Let me see. Not much. These are actually class. If you can pick these up, these are Velcro toys. So basically like a cable toy except made of Velcro, and just fucking stick it like that, and then you can take them off, put them on, do what you like with them. Cost buttons, I've had that, like I bought 100 of them for not much, and I'm still going through them. Just for like cable toys you might want to snip later on, or cable toys where you don't want to fucking go to town on something that's quite delicate with a plastic cable toy. So there you go. And spanners apparently. This is woodworking stuff. Don't do as much woodworking as I'd like. A couple of planes. There's me mortise gauge. Fucking yeah. Wrenches, tap and die set, which I have yet to use in anger. A couple of random fittings. 2 kinds of torque wrenches. There's a 3/8 one, which is for sort of smaller torques, and then there's the big fucking hang out of it 1/2 inch one. Consumables. So this is stuff like sandpaper, screws, roll plugs, bolts, fucking strimmer, wire, cable toys, sandpaper, doodly-doo, loads of stuff. So just anything, this is how my mind operates. Anything that's consumable goes in there. So there you go. Then bottom seems to be electrical stuff, Optimate, fittings, all that sort of shit. So yeah, as you see, there's no real system to it. I'm not terribly regimented about it. I probably should be, but there you go. Next up, stepladder. Have a fucking stepladder. Everybody who has a garage should have a fucking stepladder. Even if you're changing a fucking bulb, get the stepladder in. Like getting up on a chair or getting up on a stool or getting up on shit is for fucking spas. And I like personal experience of having fallen off a fucking chair. I know I'm an awkward bastard, but like it can happen to you no matter how class you think you are. And if you were standing on a stool and if you fall off a fucking stool, I actually know somebody, a family friend who got up on a fucking stool to change a light bulb and you know, fell, hit their heads off a fucking mantelpiece, dead. Fucking end of story, dead, right? So there's no shame in using the fucking stepladder occasionally, and use it properly and don't fuck about with it. And just, I've had that for years. It's been sitting outside, as you can see, but there you go. It's grand. Right, now we get on to this fucking mess. And it is a mess, but I'd actually rather a mess be on the wall than on the bench top. And I'll get to the bench top in a second. I'll go through what I have here and then talk about the bench. Big fuck off level. Again, a lot of these tools are built up over the course of years. Like, you don't go out fucking tool shopping saying like, I'm gonna build a fucking tool, you know, I'm gonna build a fucking garage full of tools, because you'll end up with a load of shit you don't need. So I think like when I was building a fucking wall or hanging a load of stuff on a long wall, that I went out and said, you know what, let's do this. And sometimes you run into sales. For DIY people, if you're not a tradesperson, if you're not using these all day long, Aldi and fucking Lidl are actually grand. I hear people knocking them, but their stuff is actually grand for the average fucking hobbyist, which is me and probably you. So that's my big fucking long level. Again, as with a lot of this stuff, like I picked it up for dirt cheap in a sale at one point, because I generally don't go out saying I need a fucking 3 foot long level for no reason. These fucking clamps are class, just for holding things that you're working on. Especially if you're a Billy No-Mates like me and need somebody to hang on to stuff for you occasionally. Again, I've only got a couple of them there. As you work on stuff, if you're working on projects where you know you need more of those, just go get more of them when you need them. Other stuff, fucking rubber mallet. You'd be surprised the amount of stuff you need a fucking rubber mallet for. Like, I was assembling those shelves, turns out I needed a rubber mallet. It's handy to have. Again, don't go out fucking buying one until you figure out that you actually need one. Safety gear, PPE, have a few masks. If you're doing fucking work with dust, or if you're doing work that might be bringing off fumes, just have a few fucking masks. There's what, 3 of them there, cost a £5, just use them up. Same with safety goggles. My safety goggles are inside, but just stick them on. Like there's nothing big or hard about not having a mask or goggles on. All it really means is that you have a higher statistical chance of becoming a fucking statistic. Various fucking pliers. So, you know, the three main plier types: fucking snips, normal pliers, and needle nose pliers. Generally, that's all you need. I tend to pick up fucking pliers around the way. I have a smaller electrical one, and you know, that sort of stuff that's immediately, you know, within your grasp that you can grab at if you need your pliers. Combination square. Some people hate these things. They're not terribly accurate. I wouldn't be making a fucking cabinet with this thing, especially since I've dropped it enough times that I wouldn't be making a cabinet with this thing. But you can get a 90-degree angle, a 45 angle. There's a shitty level in it. Grand, you know. Just have it to hand for doing small bits. Tape measure. Again, tape measures are all much of a much. I mean, there's shit ones, but you know, have a decent tape measure. I have like a half a fucking dozen of them hanging around the house, just so when we need to measure something that we get it done. Other stuff, fucking silicone gun. Silicone guns are disposable as far as I'm concerned. I've had enough shite ones over the years that I'm not bothered buying a good one. And I think this one is Power Fix. It's fucking Aldi or Lidl. And so it's done me for a couple of years. It'll do me for until it breaks, and then I'll get another one. This thing, however, is the fucking Stanley Fubar. It's what they call a demolition tool. And so this thing has dismantled garden sheds, fucking gazebos, fences, walls, fucking all sorts of shit. It has like a claw on it, there's a hammer on it for hammering. I wouldn't be making a cabinet with it, but it's a hammer. Nail puller, you know, another kind of a nail puller. It's a kind of crowbar. It's not particularly big or long. It wouldn't be a proper crowbar, but it's good for fucking heavy work. Like last time I used it, I was dismantling a few pallets to fucking get the wood out of them, but good to have. Again, not going to be in everyone's garage, but there you are. Same thing, lump hammer. Fucking love lump hammers. Just fucking taking fucking lumps out of things. More Ryobi shit. This is probably the Ryobi tool I use the most. It's just the standard drill. It's not even the fancy brushless one. It's just fucking drill. And it's grand. Ryobi do a little vacuum just for keeping all the dust and shit off your bench top. Gloves, set of drill bits, Vulcanite wipes, tire gauge for when I'm doing my tires. This is the most shameful part of the garage, which is just random bike shit. Old bike gloves I should fuck out. There's a tin of WD-40 in there somewhere. There's chain lube, GT85. There's a can of ACF 50 in the back there somewhere. Rags, old tax discs, fucking random shit. So yeah, I mean, if I actually need something, I can take that basket down out of it and go rummaging in it. So I do that if I need to do it. Anyway, further up we get, the least used things are. And so this is like hacksaw and regular saw, tire weld, which I've never fucking used and hope never to have to. This old Airman compressor pump thing, it's shite, don't get one. Doesn't work on fucking CAN bus BMWs, but anyway, that's a different video. Further up is like my high-vis jacket, which I only really use on tours where you need to wear a high-vis jacket. The cover for the bike, which I only really use when I'm properly away. My bike's fucking Christmas bling and other stuff. But yeah, I mean, you might look up there and say it's pointless having shit up there, but like if you're not going for it every day or every week or every month, then it might as well be up there. Just get the fucking stepladder out and get up and get the shit when you need it. Bungees, can't have enough bungees. For a bin, I just hang a black bag out of bungees, and that's it. Fucking torch, Ryobi 1 Plus, stick a battery on it, and it's a fucking big fuck off LED torch. Good stuff. Right, bench top. So overall, this is a bit of a funny setup, or not really, but I couldn't put a permanent sort of bench or unit in there because if you can see there, the two pipes going along the back, that's the main gas pipe for the house. So I can't really get everything right into the wall. And as I'm stuck for space, what I decided to do was just get a bench top and hinge it to the wall. And so let me see if I can get in under there. So if you see, yeah, so I just stuck a plank to the wall, got a few heavy duty steel hinges. The bench top itself is actually from IKEA. It's a worktop. So you can go and you can buy like 1.8 meter, or I don't know how long it is. You can buy solid wood worktops in IKEA and they're pretty nice. I even forget what wood this is, but I like having a solid wood worktop. I wouldn't like having a fucking plywood or chipboard top. And so that was simple enough to do. And then get a couple of bits of wood, and I actually have those on hinges, hinge down as well. And you know, so if I need that space back, I can just collapse up these legs, fold down the bench, and that's it. It's basically a couple of inches out from the wall, and that's where you're at. Same with this bench vise. So this is a Stanley Fatmax 4-inch vise. That actually screws off if you really wanted to, and leaves just this little base. This part screws off and comes off. Other stuff here, having a work mat here is pretty essential, just so wood is not great for spotting small parts on. And so having this is for electronics, I think, like it's for doing small parts electronics. So if I'm doing stuff here, I'll just have it up on the mat, and there's no harm in having that there for wear and tear as well. That's tay. Tay is essential for all garage activities. Fucking tay. That's just random bit of wood. I was fucking around with pocket holes, so that's stuck together by 2 screws that go in sort of this way, and then you cover it up with pocket holes. So that's pretty cool. Just messing around with that in the garage. This thing I picked up a while back. It's a sort of a little grinder. It's not even a standard grinder type, but it has the 2 wheels on it, and then it also has sort of power draw out the side to a Dremel style thing as well, which is kind of cool. And you have lots of attachments for the little Dremel attachment, so that's pretty nice. Alright, bucket. Can't have too many buckets. I'm actually planning on making cement in that and then fucking it out. The boxes are there because I'm packing for a mystery tour, but we'll get on to that. Random Amazon box, because there's generally random Amazon boxes everywhere. Stanley Workmate, actually, yeah. Fucking everybody should have a Stanley Workmate, or everybody who does anything should have a Stanley Workmate. These things are fucking impossible to break. The more modern ones have decent little plastic bench dogs in them, and you know, the basic design, you know, you can clamp wood with it, you can, you know, do angle stuff with it. The basic design hasn't changed in fucking decades. Like, my dad had one of these and he still has it, and it's still fucking like the day he got it, apart from being fucking dinged all over. Same with this one. I've had this one probably 20 years and it's still fucking perfect, and it'll still be there when I'm long gone. So fucking Black & Decker Workmate. Jesus, sorry Black & Decker Workmate. I don't know if it's just Black & Decker does them, but Workmate bench, fucking class. Get one. Alright, more fucking shop front, you know, whatever this stuff is called, with outsidey tools, so rake and shovel and spade and all that sort of shit. This is the corner I'm least proud of, because there's just a load of shit in there and random tools, and there's the bike pump for the bike. One thing I do like about over in this corner, that's the fuse box. It's a big fucking junction fuse box. What I did is I found sticky backed whiteboard material and just threw it on there, so that could easily be wasted space, but I have my little marker there and I can just write up what I need to do, because I have a mind like a sieve, and cross it off as I do it, and then that's grand. That's then not wasted space. So when we were rewiring this place, I got the lads doing it to, you know, put in ducting at just above bench height. So we have ducting going all the way along. So if I need to put in more sockets, then they can be put in, and that's the main thing, and that's the main set of wires going into the house, and it goes over the thing, and there's power down there if I really want it, and there's a Cat 6 there as well, so I have a wireless access point in the garage, which is handy for live streaming or whatever internet shit you do in your garage. Come on, you do internet shit in your garage. Anyway, that's my bike. I recently took shelves out of here. So there's shelves there. I had them going all the way along that wall, and I took some of them out and put them out in storage because I need to put this bike over here to save space over here for things. Anyway, enough foreshadowing. Right, I just have shelving there. This is also quite shameful. It's all old camping gear and airsoft gear that I used to play with. This is the Ryobi fucking Bluetooth stereo, so that actually takes the same drill batteries and is pretty cool. So you can just bring it around with you. It's my back protector, which I never use. Just random shit. Random shit. Old bike stuff, you know, locks and chains and shit, and random stuff I get in Aldi and Lidl, like, you know, I think that yellow and blue box are just O-rings, you know, and like, you know, rubber grommets and fucking things you don't know you want until you fucking want them. And so big fucking thing of paracord, which is better than any sort of little rope or twine you're going to get. It's proper parachute cord, which you can get for fairly cheap. Down there, more Ryobi shit. I have their multi-tool and a sander and a circular saw, which I use not very much, so they can go over there. There's my socket set, which really should be in a more prominent position. I don't do... a lot of lads, if they had a big toolbox like this, they would be like, oh, well, this shelf is my fucking, all of my sockets, you know, and it's like a fucking Snap-on catalogue in there. I have a socket set I can just take with me, because generally if I want to use sockets, I don't want to be in one place. Like, I'm not a mechanic, right? I want a socket set I can stick in the boot of the car and go do things, or just bring out the back garden and do things without having to come back inside looking for sockets. So there you are. Other random shit for bikes. What I am going to be doing next, oh, here we go. That door fucking leaks occasionally when it rains, which because the concrete under the door is still kind of rough. And so I have to sort of mix up a bit of muck and sort of put a bit of a slope towards the door and fill in some of the little cracks that mean that water is getting in. It's not supposed to be watertight, but I mean, if it's going to pool water in itself, then you want to fix that. What else? I kind of want to do under the bench a bit better. I might see about getting some cabinets to put under the bench, because much as the bench is temporary, like maybe a couple of times a year I want to fold the bench down. Like if there's somebody delivering something huge through the house, yeah, maybe I'll do it then. But I want to get maybe more of this kind of thing, or more actual cabinets, and stick them under the bench. I want to organize this a lot better. Maybe take more of this stuff and just fuck it out, and you know, do better by this whole little area over here. Aside from that, as I said, this is pretty much where I want to be right now. I mean, there's plenty of space for working on the bike or bikes, and it's decent. I know where everything is. I have about as many tools as I know how to use, and there's no tools I'm sort of going, oh wow, I wish I had X. You know, everything that's there is there. So yeah, there is the very boring tour of my garage. Grumpy Shed Mark II. All right, hopefully I'll be showing you more videos from here. Since I want to be doing more videos, as I keep saying every time I stop doing videos for a while. But yeah, see you soon.